What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles, the YouTube channel. So today we're talking about Baltimore Regionals experience. This Charizard deck that I built that I thought was really good, and I had a lot of hype into it, and I felt really confident going into Baltimore Regionals. It was a deck I had worked on for a really good minute, for probably 2.5 weeks, just refining it and changing cards and finding the perfect 60. So for those who don't know, I went to a challenge on a random Wednesday 2 weeks ago. Maybe 3 weeks ago, I can't remember exactly when it was, and I was playing Rhydon, and I was really hyped on Rhydon. I thought Rhydon, I was like, hey, I'm going to play them Rhydon deck, I'm going to play them Rhydon, and played it, and I hit Ancient Box, and I was testing it more, and I kept losing to Raging Bolt, and I wasn't even beating Regidrago, right? And I was like, okay, so maybe Rhydon's not the play. And so then I started thinking, I think Charizard is just in a really good spot. And I thought I was in a really good spot. And I still stand beside it. I still stand beside that. I think Charizard was in a good spot for this weekend. Even though it got the top 8, I think it still does very well against top 8 decks. Its worst matchup is Regidrago. And I was like, all right, going into Baltimore, Regidrago is either going to be A, really heavily countered against, or B, just not play it because people are going to be nervous about playing it. And look at it. You look at what happened at Baltimore. There was pretty much no Regidrago in top 8. Right? I think there was one, maybe two. I think there was one, and I think it was either 8th or 9th or something like that. I have to look at the limb list. Hang on, let me look at it real quick. But it didn't do as well as it did in Worlds, right? It just didn't. And I assumed that was going to happen, and so that's why I was like, okay, I want to play Charizard just because of that. Yeah, so Regidrago got 7th and 8th, but top 6 were not Regidrago. And then after that, the next one was not until top 16. So 3 in top 16, so it significantly dropped off, right? Now, it still was one of the most heavily played decks, don't get me wrong, but I think it was really countered, and, I was thinking, all right, I'll just, play the decks. I'll just play Charizard that beats all the other decks, and so that's what I did. Going into Baltimore, and how I came up with this list, I had a lot of people ask me, they're like, oh, whose list are you playing? I had that multiple times. You playing Dustin? I was like, no. Are you playing B-Barrel? No. I decided to play cards that were just good, right? I just wanted to set up and play games. That's when you look at the list, you see a 3-1-3 Charizard line, which I think is kind of standard, right? Maybe 4-1-3, maybe you could have played that. I'll play the 2-2 Pidgeot, which is nice. I like Cleffa because it's great. It lets you draw cards. You don't have to put a Rotom V down. Usually you don't want to put a Rotom V down at all in matches because that's a free 2-price cards and stuff like that. And kind of just Rotom V, and then they can eliminate Neon and knock on a Vezdipity and stuff like that, or knock out Pidgeot, and then you're in trouble, right? And that's the 6-price cards they could take. They could just ignore Charizard, kind of go about it that route. So I didn't really want to drop Rotom V unless it was really needed, which is why it's still in the deck. The Cleffa turn 1 was always easy to play. It's really good. And Entei is actually a really good card in this deck, and I like this a lot. I'm testing it a lot. It's really good against any Ogerpon decks, right? You can just swing it to an Ogerpon and take a knockout. Also, you can do 228 damage, which if the Regidrago players got greedy, you can knock them out because they have 220 HP, which is really cool. And, just to be able to swing, you have 230 HP, and it really didn't matter a lot against Lugia decks. They can't knock you out that easily. They have to find some other means and stuff like that, so that's really nice. So Entei was actually really good. Just did a lot of damage for 2 energies. You don't really need the Charizard and stuff like that, so that was really cool. Radiant Zard's really nice. 250 damage is nice, and of course with the Defiance being 280, which really did come clutch against Lugia. It kind of just single-handedly won me 1 round just by itself. Also, 280 can hit numbers on Regidrago. If they're not careful and they just take a knockout, you can just Radiant Zard and Defiance Man take a knockout and hit to kind of cover their energies, especially if they go for the Kieran play. None of my opponents did go for the Kieran play that I can remember, so they really didn't come into too much into the Regidrago matchups. But that's always a plan you could do. Also, Radiant Charge playing a bunch of different things, but that's why Defiance Bane is good. The extra 30 damage hit for 280 is really strong. There's no B-Barrel on this list. I am not a huge fan of B-Barrel because we do have the Vezdipity and stuff like that. So be able to draw 3 cards, you can just Nest Ball for the Vezdipity, you can Ultra Ball for it, whatever you need to. And I kind of just want to focus on setting up more instead of playing the B-Barrel line, which is why I don't play that. Manaphy is probably the only questionable card in this list because most decks that have that care about Manaphy have the counter to Manaphy, like Cancel Cologne and stuff like that. So is it needed? Is it not needed? That's a big debate that I still don't know. It might be the one card I would have cut is the Manaphy for sure. It might be one card that I would cut and probably like a 4th Charmander. It just seems really good. Just be able to get Charmanders out turn 1 and stuff like that. especially if you prize like 1 or 2 Charmanders, you're kind of in trouble. You can also cut the Manaphy for the card that does an extra 30 damage. I forget what it's card called. I was playing around with that some, but most times when I needed it, I was already playing a different supporter card. But the base 30 is just great to hit for 210 that turn 2 if you need to, which is great. Also, just like extra 30 damage out of nowhere. It's usually really nice because Charizard hit like 270 with its odd numbers, and then with the 30 damage, you could knock out Regidrago, stuff like that. So that was a card I was thinking about playing, but I obviously didn't play it. And the way I built this list, I don't know if I said about this, I looked at all the decks that did well, and just kind of took my favorite cards and kind of just made them a deck, and that's kind of how I came to it. Then I started testing and stuff like that. Like, some of us are playing Hisuian Headball, some weren't. I thought it was really cool, especially like giving you 1 Entei, the 1 Radianzar, 1 Rotom, 1 Fezandipity, 1 Lumineon. Finding that 1 card was really, really clutch. 4 Arven is the best card of this deck. You have to find it, right? Maybe a second tool card or third tool card might be good, but I just played, 4 Arven and 2 tool cards, whatever. You could play maybe a second Forest Seal Stone, that would you, what you can maybe cut Manaphy for, because that Forest Seal Stone is priced. It's really a big hinder on you. So maybe a second Forest Seal Stone instead of the Manaphy could be really nice. So that might be the change I would make if there was more games of this. Obviously, going forward, this deck drastically changes. And you're probably playing Dusknoir, stuff like that. I obviously don't play Dusknoir either in this list. I don't play Rapska. I don't play any of those weird tech cards. It's just like, we're trying to play pure consistency, and I say weird tech cards, we're playing Entei, but I think Entei is like overlooked. I think it really is good. I think it's a good card, for sure. 3 Iono for Disruption. The whole game is like, they take an early knockout, then you Iona take knockouts, and you start going crazy. You disrupt their setup, and then also your Charizard deck just doing a ton of damage. 2 boss orders is fine with the Pal Pad. So with the Pal Pad, you essentially have like 3 or 4 boss orders. Plus, you got Prime Catcher and Counter Catcher, where I know a lot of people aren't playing Prime Catcher in the list, or playing like Hero's Cape or Stamp. And Stamp, I can't defend that card. I can only talk about how bad it was for my testing, because every single time I'd just rather like Iona plus Prime Catcher and not go for like a Stamp plus I have like this other card that I need to use or something like that, right? I rather use Prime Catcher to win. I'm not trying to play defensive. I'm a Charizard deck. I want to win. I don't want to be this defensive deck. I'm not that kind of style of play. That's not me. I rather just like take knockouts, take knockouts, take knockouts. Yeah, they take the first knockout, but after that, like, we're just going places, right? So that's why I play the Prime Catcher. I just like to be aggressive. Tyro's really nice. It's for the Entei. It's really good to pick it up. If it's heavily damaged, pick it back up. Also, if Charizard is really damaged, you can pick it back up and stuff like that too. There's a lot of niches that Professor Tyro does, and I like it a lot, so that's why it's in the deck. You can also, like, board wipe all your 2 price Pokemon. You can, like, then take a knockout Charizard, whatever, they'll have 2 price cards. You can then, like, Tyro plus Collapse, and get rid of all your other 2 price Pokemon, hit with Radianzard, and they're like, crap, I gotta deal with this Radianzard. There's no 2 price cards left, so that's what Tur was really, really good in that deck. Thornton, once again, kind of go with the idea of board wiping all your 2 prizes out is really cool. Also, getting a Charizard out of nowhere is great. I did that a lot in testing and stuff like that. They would, like, ping my Charmanders. I'm like, all right, cool. And then you Thornton, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then also you get Thornton out of Entei. I did that multiple times too. Entei would get knocked out. I'm like, all right, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then, I'd have a random fire energy attached, like a Fezandipity or a Lumineon or something. Not only for the Entei, not only for the Entei, but for the pivot. And so that's why Thornton's in there. It's really good to get back out. 44, but these are all just consistency cards. What explanation you need for those? 2 Stroop Rod to get back your energies and Pokemon. We play a lot of 1-ofs, which is great. 2 Nest Ball, just good for the Arven for Nest Ball, stuff like that. It is good for the Entei. It's good for the Fezandipity. Not for Lumineon. Don't do that for Lumineon. It's not going to work. Rotom, I would hardly ever Nest Ball for the Rotom, just FYI. Heavy Ball, we already talked about this. Finding your support Pokemon, stuff like that. 1 Lost Vacuum is really great. Just get rid of those pesky tool cards if need be. Also, to get rid of stadium cards is really nice too. Just in case you need to. I did that multiple times. Getting rid of stadium cards, stuff like that was really cool. Be able to lost vacuum your own collapsed stadium is really a really cool play as well. Also, if you are playing against Guardy for some reason and they smack you for a turn of damage, you can lost vacuum whatever tool card they have to make them higher HP. That gets knocked out. Then you take another knockout. Then you take 2 prize cards and you're good to go. Prime Catcher, because I want to be aggressive. Night Stretcher, I just want to get back my energies and Pokemon. I know we have the Super Rod, but Night Stretcher for any Pokemon or energy is like really, really good. You're like, yep, I need this 1 Pokemon. Let's go in the hand. So that's really nice. You feel safe about discarding your Pokemon because you know you have the odds of Super Rod and Night Stretcher, which is really cool. Pal Pad to give extra supporter cards. Like I said, you only pay 2 boss orders, so 3 or 4 is nice. You can use Turo twice in a game, Thornton twice in a game. I don't think I've ever Thornton twice in a game, just FYI. Force of Stone is broken. Get any card of your deck. It's broken, of course, with Pidgeot. These combos of any 2 cards is really good. Defiance Man, we talked about how well the math is with that, right? With the Radiant Zard. Additional 30 damage is great, 280. It just hit crucial numbers. If they did get 3 price cards, you now hit 300 damage, right? Because you do plus extra 90, which is 270, plus 30 is 300. Takes knockouts of Red Drago and stuff like that. Collapse Stadium, once again, you can board wipe your Pokemon if need be. Plus, you can discard Pokemon that have damage on it. And 6 Fire Energy. I just want to play like as many fires as I want to. Sometimes I want 7. I know some months are playing like Mist, and some people were playing Double Turbo and stuff like that. But I think I'd rather guarantee just the Fire Energy. Just be able to swing, get that attack off. I get the idea of the double turbos, you can attack a Pidgeot and that kind of stuff out of nowhere, but I don't know. I just rather have more fire energies, and you don't have to like worry about like, oh, do I have enough fires and stuff like that in my deck because I'm only paying 5. I know I've seen lists with 4 fire. There was a list over the weekend that did well that had 4 fires. Props to them. There's no way I'll be able to do that. So in the end, that's the Charizard list I came up with. Like I said, no Dusknoir, no B-Barrel. I just wanted pure consistency. And most of those decks that did play Dusknoir and B-Barrel, I asked people how often did you get the Dusknoir set up. They go, sometimes. Or when I asked for the B-Barrel, like, sometimes. I'm like, well, if you're sometimes setting this up, I'm going to use cards that I'm always going to use. And so that's kind of why I got here. So, we go into Saturday, I'm feeling really confident. Like, when I say really confident, I'm feeling really, really confident. The deck is really good. I still stand by it. I think it's really strong. Round 1, we play Lugia. It was pretty good. It was the Lugia with Machino and stuff like that. Didn't play Weird Year. To my knowledge, I didn't see any. We chewed that pretty quickly. Next round, we play against Ancient Box, which I know Ancient Box is, supposed to be a good matchup for us. But this Ancient Box player played a Liepard. And that made things really weird because, the point of this deck is you Iona them, take a knockout, Iona, take a knockout, and then they can't recover. But when they have a Liepard, they can recover. They can recover pretty nicely. That's what it came down to. So game 1, it's always weird because the whole time I was thinking, okay, I should probably concede. But like, okay, let me just Iona them again. And then like, in the end, I had 1 price card left and I kept Iona them and they found it. So like, what, that's a weird situation, such a weird deck. Game 2, I just like boss up the baby Liepards. They never set up, and I'm able to like Iona them and take knockouts, and they can get set up. So I won that game. And game 3 with the time because it is Ancient Box. Game 3 was against Lugia. Round 1, game 1 I overbenched 2 Pokemon, and they had Blood Moon Ursaluna, and I kind of forgot that Blood Moon Ursaluna was a card. And so I got punished by it. Games 2 and 3 went really well. Game 2, I think they didn't really get set up. I'm pretty sure they didn't get set up. And then game 3, I did the whole they took a knockout turn 2 or whatever, and then I had like 3 energies on my Radiant Zard. It took a knockout, and their idea is like, do you knock out Radiant Zard or something else? They didn't. Radiant Zard took another knockout, and then at that point, Charizard was ready to go. So that's really cool. And then round 5 and 6, we started off 3-0-1. I think, did I win, lose? I think I win, loss. I can't remember in round 5 how that went. No, I think it's win, loss. I'm pretty sure that's correct. If it's not, I apologize. Round 5 was really bad. If my opponent, I know my opponent used to watch it. They say they used to watch this on the channel and stuff like that. So they see this, hey. But in round 5, I know for sure, game 1, I think game 1, they didn't get set up. I think they prized like 3 ready to go V-Stars. Game 2, I didn't get set up. And then game 3, I didn't set up. Like, literally, our game was over, I think it was like 15, 20 minutes left in round. And, it was just bad. And they were like, yeah, sorry that neither one of us got set up. Like, yep, we didn't have a good game. And that's Pokemon. I'm not upset about that at all. It is what it is. But I hit a Red Drago, and I was like, cool. Oh, also, I didn't talk about this. Round 4, we hit Future Box, and Future Box is really bad into Charizard. They could try to set up the play where they try to 2-shot the Charizard, take 6 price cards. I just didn't set a Pidgeot. just didn't. Entei just went ham. I set a Pidgeot when I was in like commanding lead, and then I kind of do it that way. But outside of that, you know, just win-win, pretty easy matchup. So we're 3-1 going around 5. We hit Regidrago, Miracle, or hopefully the one Regidrago of the day. Like, please, no Regidrago. It's a hard matchup. I get it. Then round 6, we hit another Regidrago. So unfortunately, we lost that one. I can't remember the first 2 games. They were all really close. Like, these were really, really, really good set. We even talked about how good the game was. And even the third game, bless you, Zobra. I went first, which was great for me. Whatever, we touch energy to Entei or something like that. And we, you know, start setting up. And then, you know, I have a risky play where, like, I can Prime Catcher up their Squawk ability. Iono, if I hit the Fire Energy, we take a knockout, and then we secure the game pretty much at that point because we take the first 2 prize cards and stuff like that. And now we have this Entei that can just swing and take a knockout on the Ogerpon, so they deal with that, and they deal with that. The Charizard comes up. It's the whole checkmate situation, right? So we Iono, draw 6, and whiff the Fire Energy. We even Fleetfoot and missed the Fire Energy. And I was like, oh my god, bro. And we even talked about it afterwards. He was like, yeah, if you hit that Fire Energy, you definitely would have won the game. And I was like, yep. And so, like, that's how, like, pivotal, like, Entei is in that matchup. Just like I didn't really get a Charizard up that game 3, but having Entei be able to set up, because, like, since I went first, you can't really, like, use supporter cards, but you can Nest Ball or try to find that Entei with the 4 Ultra Ball 2 Nest Ball. It's pretty easily to do. But we whip the Fire to take a knock on Squawk ability. If we knock on Squawk ability, like I said, we take 2 prize cards, and from there we probably get set up and then find Charizards to retaliate and stuff like that. But alas, we missed the Fire Energy. I don't think we didn't get Pidgeot set up either, or maybe we did, and I had to like Prime Catcher plus like Iono play or something like that. And that's what the Prime Catcher's in here. He even said he wasn't expecting Prime Catcher, and it just made it so aggressive that it actually gave me this like shot to actually win. Because if not, I don't think I would have a shot at all in game number 6. Because I was able to be aggressive against his Regidrago deck, and basically, you know, they put out a Squawk ability, I punished them, and they can't do anything turn 2 or turn 1, or going second, or they can't do anything going first on turn 2. Does that make sense? On their turn 1, they can't go first. They can't do anything. Anyways, unless they like energy attach, double E switch, swing with the Ogerpon. But at that point, we're 3-2-1. I can't make day 2, and at this point, I'm not trying to like go for points. I've come to realize that it's probably impossible for me to get my invite. I'm not going to like a lot of regionals this year. There's no crack at top 125, and so I just go home. I'm tired. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go home and just watch round 7, 8, 9. Baltimore is like 50 minutes away from my house, so we just drove home and watched regional. We just watched rounds 8, 9 at the house and just chilled. So am I sad? No, not really, because we did fine. I think I did fine. I did fine. If any opponents, the 2 Regidrago players, if they watch this for some reason, if they remember the game ended differently, let me know. But this is a secret Charizard deck that I've been working on for weeks. At least like 2.5, almost 3 weeks, and I liked it a lot. I think it's really good. I think it's fun. I think it's fine. I think it's fine that you don't have to play conventional cards like Beeper and Dusknoir and stuff like that. You don't have to play what people play. You can do your own thing, and we'll talk about that later in this week. About, you know, people could play like wacky decks and still do fine, or people could play, you know, tech cards and they're fine. I heard all this like talk before Baltimore Regionals how bad this format is, and it's terrible. This is the worst format ever. And I'm like, yo, shut up. Like, the format is fine. It's really good. Like, you can literally play like 8, 9 different decks and you'll be fine. It's like, I hate when people cry like that. Like, it's fine. Stop whining. Stop whining so much. Like, it's fine, dude. I think the format's fine. It's great. Regidrago didn't even do that well. So, like, you can see how diverse this game is in this format. I think the format's fine. I think it's great. I think it gets even better in the next set. We get so many more options, right? Being able to have 8 bench cards, it's going to be great again. You can play these cool tech decks now, tech cards, that people don't expect. So I think it's fine. I think it's great. I think we're in a good format. I don't care what people say. I hate that so much. People just whine so much about the format, and I hate it. And so yeah, even though I didn't play like a B-Barrel list or Dusknoir, and people kept questioning it, I was like, it's fine, dude. Like, trust me. I was hoping to hit more of the Raging Bolts. I didn't hit any. I really thought Raging Bolt was going to be the most played deck, and I think it's number 2, maybe number 1. I think it was Regidrago, then Raging Bolt was like really surprising to me. But yeah, didn't hit any of them. I was surprised to hit like 2 Lugia and 2 Regidrago. I'm like, what the heck, dude? What kind of format is this? If you replay the format and I don't hit any Regidrago, I think we win at day 2. I'm 100% going to stick by that. I think that could have beat anything but the Regidragos, and I proved it a lot. I went to multiple like tournaments and stuff like that, and my only losses or close losses were to Regidragos. Everything else was fine. We were good. So yeah, there you go. Test your decks. Play what you want to play. Have fun. Forget what people say. Play non-conventional list. That's the story for today. I don't care what anybody says. Even though I didn't make day 2, I'm super confident in my record, and because my 2 losses were like really close. It wasn't like I got curb stomp. I think in round 5, the only mistake I made was I Charizard and did attach a second energy to Charizard EX, and that hurts me. But if I attach the second energy to Charizard EX, then Ogerpon can knock it out with 3 energies instead of 4. So like it helped me out that way. But at the end, it did bite me, and that's the only misplay I think that I knew of on top of my head. If I made any other misplays against the Regidrago players and they're watching it for some reason, let me know. But my opponents are great, fantastic people. I have fantastic people behind me, around me, and stuff, talking. Yeah, it was great. It was great. Baltimore was great. I don't care what anybody says. Even the first rounds, even though those were shaky, you have over 2,300 people playing Pokemon, not knowing how to turn in matchups and stuff in for the first regionals. It's fine. It's going to be slow the first 2 rounds. Shut up. It always is. Shut up. Stop complaining, people. Like, that's just Pokemon. It's their first regionals. People got to learn how to do stuff. But yeah, that's my rant for the day. Have a great Tuesday. Subscribe. I don't care. See you later. Bye.